Hello everyone, Richard here again. Today I'm going to be doing a product test and review on the Sandisk 128 gigabyte micro SD card. Now I've done a previous test on the 64 gig version of this same card, and I'll put a card up for that up here for you guys so you can watch that video if you haven't yet. But in that video I noted that the 64 gig card wasn't as fast, at least in the specifications, as the 128. So today I'm going to test and review this card and see how it goes. Oh, also, if you have comments, suggestions, or anything else you want to say to me, put them in the comments section below. I check regularly there, and I respond quite regularly as well. And also, links for all the hardware used will be in the video description as well. One more thing I want to add about buying from Amazon is they have a really friendly return policy. If you have any problems with this device or a compatibility issue, you can easily return it to Amazon. I've never had a problem returning anything to Amazon, but I've never actually returned a Sandisk product to Amazon, so I don't suspect you'll have a problem. They're very reliable technology. So here's what the product packaging should look like if you've got something that's genuine. And let's zoom in into the actual card itself so you can see what you're getting as far as the hardware goes. And you'll see that you have a micro SD adapter and a actual memory card itself, the 128 gig micro SD card. And this inserts into the card for larger devices like my camera. Another thing too, if you're going to be using it primarily inside the SD card adapter, this is what I do. I put a little, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it there. I put a little piece of tape on the actual card itself to lock the micro SD card in. These, they're just friction fit. They don't lock in. They just friction fit in there. So they have a tendency that, they can fall out and then you lose it. So if you just put a little bit of tape on it like I just did, and that'll hold it in there. So that's a little tip for you guys. Let's look at the back of the package. All right, we got claims of waterproof, temperature proof, shock proof, and X-ray proof. You see the number 4 next to that. What that is, what the caveat for that is that the card itself, the micro SD memory card itself, is all 4 of these things, but the SD card adapter is not. So they don't warranty the SD card adapter against these things. They actually just warranty the memory card against these things. I haven't had any problem going through an airport with either one so far. So I don't see X-ray being an issue. But again, it's not guaranteed, so I can't say it will or will not survive that. Mine all have, though. So then we got the rest of the boiler plate here, basically telling you all the speeds and so on of the card and what it can do. And I'll go, like I said, we're going to do some speed testing anyway, so I'll go through that, and we'll go through the web page specifications instead of trying to reading it off on the back of this card. Here are all the specifications for this card, and just like the micro SD 64 gig card, this one does not mention that it is a class 10 card, but it is a class 10 card. It's not written on the card itself, and it's not written on the actual packaging itself. But if you require a class 10 card, this is one. And class 10 basically means that it's compatible to everything below. And the same with every other designation that you see back here. It's all backwards compatible. So if it meets or exceeds your specification or need, it will work. All right. So again, check your devices to see if they're compatible or not, okay? Because this is a 128 gig card, just like the 64 gig card. In older devices, they may not work. So check and make sure you're compatible. Here's the product number that you should verify from your purchase web page on Amazon. Make sure that you got the product you were supposed to. This stuff changes numbers all the time. So just make sure that whatever number was on the pictures or on the description is what you got. And this is the 128 GN6MA. We can go through SDSQXA1 128G GN6MA. So you can see it there. Yeah, make sure that you got that. Of course, the 128 designating that is a 128 gig card. So let's open it up. Okay, and to open it up, they say that you should cut it across this line. Make sure everything's cool, that you're not going to cut the card. So we're going to cut across the line as indicated. There we go. And let's just peel that open. Hopefully this is easy. There we go. Oh, it's in there pretty good. Oh, we'll just go all the way. There we go. So we have a sealed package here. It has an open on the corner. Last time I tried this, it was a real bear to get this open, but I'll give it another shot. Why not? See what happens. Yeah, same as last time. Don't know what the trick to doing this is, but getting that corner to actually do anything for you seems to be something else. So I'm just going to cut it open on the back. You can see that there's just a thin layer of plastic over top of both cards. So let's just give it a little slice. And make sure you don't cut the card, please. So slice it here, slice it there. There we go. And so I'll take the micro SD card out first. There we are. And then, sorry, the SD adapter. This is the micro SD card. Still in there pretty good. Let's see. There we go. Peel it off. Off it goes. And I'll show you how this all inserts together. So all you need to do or know is that as long as the printing is facing you like it is here in this video, it will be the right way to insert it. So we'll just put it in. There we go. Like so. And it's just a friction fit. There's no click or anything. Just push it in all the way. And that's the way it should look when you're done. One more thing you need to know about the card is that it has a write protect on it, or what they call a lock. And that's this little tab right here on the edge. So if it's up to the top, that's unlocked. So it's not write protected. That means that you can write to it or erase files on it, no problem. But if you look, and I have one here that actually has the printing on it. If you slide the tab down to the bottom, then it's write protected. Then it'll be locked, and you won't be able to actually put anything on it or erase anything on it. So there is a write protect, but that's only on the SD card adapter. It won't be on the actual micro SD card. The micro SD card doesn't have a lock on it at all. So that's a feature of the SD card adapter. Before I get on to the test results, I just want to go over what Sandisk is actually promising on their webpage for performance on these cards, because you need to understand exactly what they're saying, because there are some disclosures and disclaimers about the speed of these cards, and I'll talk about that in a second. First of all, you can see that all the cards have 160 megabytes per second read speed, except for the 32 gigabyte. And really, why would you ever buy the 32 gig at this point? I don't know. The 64 is so cheap anyway. But regardless, they all say 160 for the most part, except for the 32. And the write speed is 90 across the board, right down to the 128 card. After that is 60 and 60. That's another reason why at this point, I can't recommend buying either the 32 or the 64. And had I known that before I bought the cards myself, I may have not bought them and just made the video about the 128. But I'm kind of glad I did, because then I can show you guys the difference. I didn't know it till I did that test. So if you watch my video on the 64 gigabyte, I state that there. So here's the thing. When you're buying a micro SD card for whatever purpose, well, it does make a difference what purpose you're using it for. For me, it's for capturing video. So write speed is important, because the camera's writing to the card. And if the card can't keep up with the camera stops recording. So you want one that can actually keep up with the data that the camera is producing and storing to the card. Now you can see here that from the 64 to the 128, it goes up by 50%. And the price difference is not that much different. Well, it's about double, but regardless, you get twice the amount of speed and 50% more speed and twice the amount of storage space. I think it's a no-brainer for me. I'm buying 128s or higher from now on, and boy, there's a 1 terabyte available soon, and I'm going to be tempted to buy that. So again, things to consider. Write speed is important for cameras, and read speed is important when you're reading data off the card, right? So if you're playing the video back, it's important. Now on your phone or something like that, if you got a 4K camera, yeah, the write speed is important. So at this point, I can only recommend buying the 128. Spend a little extra and get it. But as far as the speeds go, you got to read the disclosure down here and see what they say about that, okay? So I copied it into Notepad so it'd be a little easier to read. It says, not all devices support micro SDXC memory card formats. So check with your manufacturer to make sure that you're compatible. Now, for the 128 gigabyte to 1 terabyte cards, 160 megabyte read speeds engineered with proprietary technology to reach speeds beyond UHS-I or 1 of 104 megabytes per second. Okay, so requires compatible device capable of reaching such speeds. Okay, I don't know what the compatible devices are that can do that, but I don't have one. I just have a laptop and a micro USB reader. This is a USB 3 reader, and it's faster than my SD card slot on my laptop, much faster. So I recommend, if you're working with these fast cards, to get yourself one of these, this USB 3 micro SD and SD card reader. And I'll put a link to that in the video description below because it's faster, you know, and speed matters. So here we go. It says here that up to 90 megabytes on the write speed. So they're putting a caveat on that 160 megabytes. They're saying, yeah, you can reach it, but only if you have certain things. And they say the same thing more or less for the 64 gigabyte. You can read it there. And the 32, of course, being much slower, they put a caveat in for that as well. So, you know, let's get on to the test results, understanding that information, okay? So let's go over here. So here's the test that I did. Let's see if I can get this. Yeah, here's the test that I used. I used Crystal Disk Mark and Aas Ssd Benchmark. So Crystal Disk Mark is a disk benchmarking tool. You know, it's widely used and widely accepted as being very good. So we've got 92 on the read speed. And now there's 4 tests here because I ran 4 different sample sizes, 1 gig, 8 gig, 16 gig, and 32 gig on that test. And pretty well across the board, pretty consistent numbers, 92 and 86, right? So 92 on the read speed, excellent, no problem there. And 86 on the write speed. Again, you're supposed to get 90, so 86 is only 4 megabytes short of it. 90 is the maximum promised speed, not the, you know, they say up to 90. They don't say constant 90. They don't say 90 all the time, up to, okay? So 86 for that test is excellent for me. The Aas Ssd Benchmark is a benchmark used to test solid-state hard drives. And, you know, this is actually, these little micro SDs are actually a version of a solid-state hard drive. So I used this to test them, and these 3 tests at the bottom took easily 6 hours to finish, all right? So understand how much time went into that. And they're a little more critical on the speeds. The read speeds are 89.47, 60, and 51, so about 89 across the board and about 89 and a half on average. And that's still awesome for me. And the write speed is 82, 81, and 79 when you got to the bigger one. So, I don't know why the variance, but obviously a little slower than the actual Crystal Disk Mark, but that may be because the card was just being pounded on by these tests for hours and hours and hours. Maybe heat had an issue to do with that. So again, excellent test results. No problem recommending this card to you. I think the speeds are right on par with what they say they're going to be. And if you look here, I'll show you my, see if I can bring this up. These are my results for the 64 gig, and you can see that there's 65 on the write, 89 on the read, which is consistent with what they advertise. But obviously 65 is nowhere near 86 or 81 in speed. Like I said, I just can't recommend the 64 anymore. You just go get the 128 instead. Again, links for this stuff in the video description below for everybody so you can get it where I got it from, which is Amazon. And yeah, definitely get yourself a micro USB card reader, USB 3. And I'll put a link for all this stuff in the video description below. That's it for my video on the Sandisk 128 gigabyte micro SD memory card. If you like this video and it helped you out in some way, do me a huge favor. Click on the like button in the bottom corner over here and give me a big thumbs up. That helps my video, it helps my channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, in the video description below, I'll put links to all the hardware, including the card, which I can only suggest you buy from Amazon because they're the authorized dealer for Sandisk. Anywhere else, you're taking a chance on buying counterfeit product. Check the Sandisk site. There are other authorized sellers, but Amazon is my prime place to get it. And that's where I got it. So I'll put a link for it in the video description below. Also, comments, suggestions, or anything you want to say to me in the comments section below. I check it regularly and I respond quite frequently. And up here, you'll see a picture of me. That is a subscription link. If you want to subscribe to my channel, click on that link and you'll be subscribed. As part of the process of doing that, you'll see a bell icon. That bell icon is a notification bell. Every time I put up a video, if you click on that bell button, you'll be notified and then you can watch it at your own leisure. Once again, and like always, I want to thank you for watching and for your time.